Tonight on CTV3 News. Late this evening, a man is shot in the village of Carmelita. He passes at the NRH. Prime Minister John Briceño meets with Guatemalan President Arevalo at the UN, addresses security concerns amid recent incidents and false trade. Guatemalan President amid SARS-2 incursions in UN address. Prime Minister John Briceño says he will not do the same. The fight against the fusarium wilt in the sugar industry is showing progress. And is the sterile fly the solution to combat screwworm infestation and protect livestock? These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Thursday, September 25th, 2025.
Looking for quality, tasty, and easy to prepare meals? Look no farther. M&M Frozen Foods, proudly distributed by United Distributors Limited, brings you a wide range of delicious frozen delights, perfect for every occasion. From frozen pizzas, quesadillas, garlic bread, jumbo samosa, cocktail samosas, pizza pockets, spring rolls, and hacken noodles, M&M Frozen Foods is fresh, flavorful, and convenient for busy lifestyles. Whether you're planning a quick dinner, hosting a gathering, or stocking up for the week, M&M Frozen Foods has you covered. Available now at leading supermarkets and stores nationwide through United Distributors Limited. M&M Frozen Foods, extensive variety to satisfy every craving.
Attention farmers, the New World Screwworm is a serious threat to livestock, pets, wildlife, and humans. It causes yield losses, damages the quality of meat and skins, and can even kill them if left untreated. Check your animals daily. If you see any wounds on them, treat them immediately. Prevention is key. Apply approved healing and fly repellents to the navel of newborn animals after dehorning, ear tagging, or any other practice that leaves wounds on your animals to ensure your animals' well-being. If you notice worms in unusual wounds, report them immediately. Call Baja at 824-4872 or text or WhatsApp 670-7003 or call your nearest Ministry of Agriculture office. And don't forget, never transport or receive animals with injuries. Together, we will prevent the spread of this dangerous disease. This message was brought to you by Baja, OIRSA, AICA, USDA, and the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security, and Enterprise.
We are the Public Utilities Commission. Since 1999, we have regulated Belize's electricity, water, and telecommunication sectors, ensuring quality services at reasonable rates for consumers. A lot has changed since our establishment in 1999, and so have we. To reflect our evolution and future-focused vision, we are proud to introduce our new identity, where the blend of colors show our balanced and inclusive approach to regulation, where innovation, sustainability, and trust are all equally important. Orange represents the telecommunications sector and symbolizes innovation and connectivity. Green reflects the energy sector, sustainability, and national growth. Blue represents the water sector, highlighting trust, stability, and life-sustaining resources. White symbolizes transparency and accountability, core principles of the PUC. We are the Public Utilities Commission, transitioning to a new look, but our core values remain the same: accountability, excellence, integrity, innovation, and professionalism. Our logo is more than a design. It is our visual commitment to continue to serve the people of Belize with transparency, competence, and professionalism. We are the Public Utilities Commission.
For sure, this journey started long before September 1981. Indeed, we're all here because of the courage of our founders, the Maya, Creole, Garifuna, East Indian, Mestizo, and all who are sustained by the spirit and sacrifice of every generation. How beautiful it is that on this day, thousands of our citizens will join with friends and loved ones at parades and parties across this country to rejoice in the blessings of this land and people. As one people, we will work to build a better and brighter future.
At Centaur, we believe that keeping up with technology is just the beginning. What really matters is the care and support we provide every step of the way. Our commitment to exceptional customer service means you never have to wait long for help. You're not just a number, you're part of the family. Fast speeds, reliable connections, and the support you deserve. Because with Centaur, your connection is our commitment. For more information, give us a call at 380-0101.
Good evening with your news also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. Just before 6 o'clock this evening, reports emerged of a shooting in the community of Carmelita in Orange Walk. We understand a male individual was shot and rushed to the Northern Regional Hospital, where he later succumbed to his injuries. The exact circumstances surrounding the incident remain unclear at this time, and police investigations are ongoing. We will continue to follow this developing story and bring you more details in Friday's newscast. Today, Belizean Prime Minister John Briceño engaged in a bilateral discussion with Guatemalan President Bernardo Arévalo during the 80th United Nations General Assembly in New York City. The encounter was characterized by warmth and mutual respect, offering a platform to address key issues such as security, peace, trade, and economic cooperation. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Prime Minister voiced serious concerns over recent provocative and unlawful actions carried out by members of the Guatemalan Armed Forces. Today, via Zoom from New York, he told us how that discussion went.
Discuss some of it. Actually, we had a very good meeting. Belize, we requested a meeting since we knew that President Arevalo was going to be here in New York, and he graciously accepted. In a meeting along with his foreign minister, we made it abundantly clear that we are very concerned of the behavior of the Guatemalan military. And I pointed out to him that we have never seen this kind of aggression, at least as far as I can remember, in the Sarstone, and that we're very concerned, and that we've always been trying to be peaceful and respectful in the area, and that we've never seen this kind of aggression, and we're very concerned and asking if there's any kind of change in their approach. The president assured me that there's no change in their approach, that they continue to go through the ICJ process, and they're hoping that when they listen to the case, hopefully, if not by the end of this year, early next year, that then we can have a settlement on this matter.
Both leaders concurred that it is essential to prevent such incidents from recurring and committed to strengthening collaboration at the military command level, both on the ground and within their respective maritime zones.
What we have agreed to is then that first to be able to find a way we can communicate immediately. Remember, when something happens there in the Sarstone, it goes up to the chain of command until you get to the commander of the BDF. And then from there goes to the minister, then foreign minister, then to me. And so by the time it gets way to the top, it's a lot has happened or can happen. So what we agreed, the both militaries met yesterday, and what we have agreed both at the heads level, that we will allow now the commanders on the ground for them to have direct communications. So as soon as anything is happening, that we can immediately inform them, or they could inform us, and so we can quickly reduce the tensions. We made the point also that of late we have seen that a lot of times their boats are coming into our insular waters, and I made the point that that they know that they are within our insular waters, and that the minute our BDF would go to them and or the Coast Guard would go to them and tell them, hey, you're within or insular waters, they move because they know. And so we could not we just were consistent, insisting that this has been unprecedented, and that if we want peace, this is not the way to go about. Again, President Arevalo insisted that he wants peace. He wants to ensure that both countries can continue. Foreign Minister to have a stronger relationship. Foreign Minister Fonseca pointed out that that there are so many great opportunities in trade between both countries. As it is right now, Guatemalans come and they buy from coconuts to pigs to chicken to eggs, cattle, and so we need to be able to foster that as opposed to try to create a more hostile environment.
The meeting follows a series of hostile acts by Guatemalan military personnel towards Belizean Defense Force members and Coast Guard personnel. The most recent breach occurred on September 21st, coinciding with Belize's 44th Independence Day celebrations. While Guatemala's president did discuss with Prime Minister John Briceño the recent action of the Guatemalan Armed Forces at the Sarstone, when he addressed members of the United Nations General Assembly yesterday, he did not mention about the recent incursions that have been taking place at the Sarstone. When he touched on the Belize-Guatemala territorial, maritime, and insular dispute, he limited his comments on the case being before the ICJ.
Madam President, the forthcoming judgment of the International Court of Justice will bring an end to the territorial, insular and maritime dispute with our neighbour Belize. The written phase has now been concluded and the oral hearings are scheduled for next year. We now stand before an historic opportunity to open a new chapter in relations between the two countries. Resolving this dispute peacefully is an example of how even the most complex differences can lead to peace and cooperation. Guatemala reiterates its commitment to strengthening its bilateral relations with Belize on the basis of mutual respect, peaceful cooperation, and the observance of international law.
Of note is that Prime Minister Honorable John Briceño will represent Belize on the world stage as he delivers the national statement at the 88th session of the United Nations General Assembly tomorrow, September 26th, at approximately 12 p.m. Belize time. His address will highlight Belize's perspectives on global peace and security, sustainable development, climate change, multilateral cooperation, and the recent aggressions by the GAF at the Stone.
We have to look after our interests. We have to ensure that the world knows exactly what's happening in the Stone. But at the same time, to point out that the president of Guatemala continues to speak that he supports the ICJ process. So we have to, it's important for us to be able to walk or to find a balance in the statement. Let the world understand that for the first time, the military has been very aggressive. The Guatemalan military has been very aggressive in the Stone, but that Belize is also going with that we will remain firm in our position at the Stone, and at the same time to ensure that we can continue that process. It is in our interest to be able to keep Guatemala engaged in the ICJ process.
Last week, Belize marked a significant diplomatic milestone with the arrival of 7 new ambassadors, notably including the newly appointed Palestinian ambassador. Belize has historically championed Palestinian statehood, endorsing a United Nations resolution advocating for steps towards the establishment of an independent Palestinian nation. This gesture underscores Belize's continued commitment amidst a deeply polarized international landscape. The broader context of this diplomatic development is shaped by recent and upcoming events that have heightened global tensions surrounding the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Last year, widespread protests and a massive walkout at the UN General Assembly spotlighted the growing international outrage over the escalating violence in Gaza. The walkout was driven by frustration among many nations and civil society groups who accuse Israel of committing acts of genocide against Palestinians, emphasizing the severe humanitarian crisis unfolding in the region. Looking ahead, all eyes are on tomorrow's speech by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the UN General Assembly. Expectations are high that Netanyahu will address the ongoing conflict, which has reached a critical juncture following a brutal escalation in Gaza. As for Belize, Prime Minister John Briceño says he and the Belize delegation would support another walkout.
And I know there have been some strong words have been said about him as a criminal, and that so I suspect that probably tomorrow a lot of people probably would not be present or would walk out.
Would you support the Belize delegation walking out?
But of course, we do not have diplomatic relations with Israel at this moment, and we do not have anything against the Israeli people. Our problem is with the Netanyahu government and the genocide has been committed in Palestine. And I think that everybody in the world should condemn his actions.
Tomorrow's speeches and global reactions will likely influence the trajectory of international efforts to address the conflict. With the echoes of last year's protests and walkouts still resonant, The international community remains watchful for signs of renewed dialogue and possible breakthroughs, even as tensions threaten to escalate further. Chief Agricultural Officer in the Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Victoriano Pascual, says the fight against Fusarium wilt in the northern sugar industry is showing progress. According to Pascual, the ministry, in collaboration with its partners, has been working closely with cane farmers to contain the spread of the disease, which was first detected late last year. He noted that while Fusarium wilt remains a serious threat, the rate of progression has begun to slow as control measures continue to be implemented. These include monitoring, farming training, and management practices aimed at limiting further damage to cane fields. Pascual also further reaffirmed the ministry's commitment to supporting the sugar industry, emphasizing that sustained collaboration will be key to reducing the impact of the disease and safeguarding livelihoods.
Fusarium is something that we've been dealing with in the sugar sector. We've been working with the World Bank. The ministry has, the government of Belize has put some funds into that as well to try to manage what we have there. We've been working tirelessly with CIRDE, the Sugar Industry Research and Development Institute. They have come up with a cocktail of measures to try to control the spread of Fusarium in the country. We know that it has affected the production up north, and likewise we're working with the IAEA, the International Agency for Atomic Energy, to get some lab equipment. We're fixing up a lab in CIRDE right now so that we will be able to produce more of these Matarrhizium fungus and as a biological control to minimize the spread in the future. But for now, we are doing what we can to minimize the spread because we know that it has been spreading. Now it is a little bit slower, but with all the people on board, the Belize sugar industry, BSI, ASR, CIRDE, the ministry, they are different associations. They all know the detriment that this fungus can cause. So we've been working together, and hopefully our collaboration will actually yield results very quickly.
Coming up next, historic milestone, 17 nursing students from SJCJ transition to bachelor's degree, a White Rose convocation. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Willie Chan. I'm a technical coordinator and agricultural health and food safety specialist at the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture. I want to talk to you about New World Screwworm and human boat fly. Both affect humans and also warm-blooded species. In the case of New World Screwworm, it's an obligate parasite, which means that the larvae of this fly require a living host for them to feed off and continue their life cycle. Normally, the fly would be attracted to open wounds or mucous membranes and lay its eggs. In a matter of 12 hours, these eggs would hatch into larvae. These larvae would start to burrow into the flesh and start eating. Here, they would move from an L1 to an L3 instar and then fall to the ground, pupate, and continue its life cycle. Now, these larvae cause severe pain and extensive tissue damage, and if left untreated, it could cause death. As opposed to the human boat fly or the beeform, they lay their eggs on an insect such as the mosquito, which then transfer the larvae to the humans or the animals. Here, it is normally one larvae or one worm that would cause a localized infection and swelling and also some pain. Now, it is very important for you to monitor your animals or your pets. Check them daily, ensure that there is no wound, and if there is any wound, ensure that you treat it until it's cured. Once there isn't an open wound or any blood that is attracting the New World Screwworm fly, the chances of an infestation is reduced. So you can do your part by checking your animals, and if there is any wound, that you treat it and make sure it's cured. And if by chance you come across any wound that is infested with worms, notify immediately. Please call BAHA or the Ministry of Agriculture or take the animal to your vet. Ensure that all the larvae is extracted, the proper treatment is provided, and it is promptly notified. You do your part, we do our part, and together we could prevent and control the spread of these infestations.
Designs for Belize's new banknotes have been revealed. But why are only 2 national figures featured on the banknotes? The individuals honored on our new banknotes have received Belize's highest distinction, the Order of the National Hero. As of January 2025, only 2 persons have been awarded this title. The Right Honorable George Cadle Price, regarded as the father of the nation, who was the first Prime Minister of Belize and renowned leader in our road to independence, and the Honorable Philip Stanley Wilberforce Golson, one of the longest-serving members of the House of Representatives, known for his unwavering stance on protecting and preserving Belize. By featuring these heroes, we honor their invaluable contributions to the development of our nation. New look, same value, Heroes Legacy. Learn more at www.centralbank.org.bz. A message from the Central Bank of Belize.
Introducing Manna Flour, the heart of every wholesome recipe. Manna Flour brings perfection, taste, and nutrition straight to your kitchen. Available in 2, 3, and 5-pound bags for everyday cooking, and 20, 50, and 100-pound sacks for bakeries, restaurants, and big family events. Whether you're making tortillas, dumplings, or your grandma's secret bread recipe, Manna Flour rises to the occasion. Pure, organic, Caribbean. Make it with Manna. Proudly produced by Caribbean Organic Foodstuff Company Limited.
It is a pleasure really for me to join you here today in an important milestone in Belize's journey towards sustainable transportation, where we officially hand over these 3 intercity buses to the management contractor will be the Westline Bus Company.
This project is directly aligned with Belize's raised ambition under its updated nationally determined contribution to the UN and its low emission development strategy. And we are very happy to support these national commitments and ensuring that Belize can meet its targets for climate action and for sustainable development as a whole, while modernizing its transport sector.
I'm happy that Westline was chosen as the first private partner of the government of Belize. We worked very hard in putting this project together. We think that it is about time that the transport industry in Belize improves.
We here, all of us, can share in the vision of one day in Belize very soon, in the next few years. We do not have to be subjected to a mediocre, substandard bus service for our people. One of the messages we want to take from here today is that when we work together, when we're not afraid to imagine and see that if we work together, we can turn these things into reality.
Is your internet struggling to reach every corner of your home? Say goodbye to dead zones. Introducing Villo, your ultimate solution for seamless internet coverage. Whether you're streaming, gaming, working from home, or scrolling through social media, Villo delivers a fast, reliable Wi-Fi where you need it most. As a valued Centaur internet customer, you can be one of the first to access Villo free of cost. For more information, call 380-0101.
The United Nations marked an important milestone on its journey towards international peace and cooperation, commemorating 80 years since its founding in 1945. Under the theme Better Together, the anniversary underscores the importance of unity in addressing global challenges. While the UN General Assembly has convened annually for decades, it was only starting in 1946 that the spouses of world leaders began to participate more actively in diplomatic and charitable efforts. This year, the 16-year-old Global First Ladies Alliance, GFLA, took center stage by hosting a prominent discussion on fostering international collaboration among first partners. The event took place alongside ongoing General Assembly meetings in New York City, bringing together influential female and male leaders from around the world. The session was officially inaugurated by Ukraine's First Lady, Olyan Zelenska, who emphasized the expanding role of first spouses beyond ceremonial duties. She highlighted their increasing influence in advocating for societal issues and driving meaningful change. Among the distinguished panelists was Belize's Special Envoy, Her Excellency Rosana Briceño, who is a member of the Spouses of Caribbean Leaders Alliance Network, SCLAN. Briceño shared her own experiences and causes, reminding attendees of the transformative potential that First Ladies and Gentlemen hold in shaping policy and advocating for vulnerable communities.
Cancer remains one of the leading causes of non-communicable diseases mortality in Belize. Recognizing this, my office has worked in close collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, civil society, and international partners to expand awareness campaigns, facilitate screening programs, and provide direct assistance to families navigating the financial and emotional burden of this disease. Belize also has a partnership and agreement with Mexico through an MOU to provide care, chemotherapy, and radiation for Belizean children with cancer. We are hopeful that through continued discussions and collaboration in the future, this will expand to assisting women.
As the global community reflects on 8 decades of UN efforts, dialogue among first partners signals a new era of collaborative leadership, one rooted in partnership, shared purpose, and the collective goal of building a better world together. Chief Agriculture Officer Dr. Victoriano Pascual this week also provided an update on the spread of screwworm in Belize, noting that while the infestation continues to affect livestock across the country, the overall health of the cattle industry remains strong. Dr. Pascual emphasized that the cattle sector is a critical pillar of Belize's economy, representing significant export revenue, and assured that the Ministry of Agriculture is actively working with regional partners to manage the situation. He explained that the current challenge is part of a wider regional issue, but expressed optimism that Belize will soon gain access to sterile flies, a proven method of controlling screwworm infestations.
Screwworm in general is a concern for us. The Ministry of Agriculture, along with the partners, Ministry of Agriculture, Baja, AICA, the Belize Livestock Producers Association, and other partners has been working tirelessly to, as best as possible, control the spread of screwworm. As you know, we were the last country in this region to get screwworm. So it has been, we have been working tirelessly to maintain and to minimize the spread. But of course, we know that it would have come. It wasn't if, but when. So now it has been found not too far from US in Mexico. It has always been a concern for us as a ministry, but we try to keep the dialogue with Mexico, and we have reports that we send to them. Baja send them reports every 2 weeks or every week, I think, where they monitor the transparency of our screwworm cases. So once we open that, we keep that transparency and dialogue. We haven't received any indication that they will not be taking our cattle. So at least for now, we're good.
Securing sterile flies, according to Pascual, would allow Belize to respond more quickly and effectively, reducing risk to livestock health and safeguarding the industry's export potential. Renovation works at the National Assembly building in Belmopan are nearing completion, with only minor upgrades left to finalize. The project, which began last year, was initially scheduled to be completed by September 2025. However, unforeseen delays pushed back the timeline. According to Chief Engineer in the Ministry of Infrastructure Development, Evan Dale Moody, the remaining tasks are relatively minor, and the refurbished building is expected to be fully completed before the end of the year. The upgrades are part of a broader effort to modernize and preserve the historic seat of Belize's democracy, ensuring it can better accommodate both members of parliament and the public.
Quite well with the National Assembly. Yes, the tentative deadline was for us to finish those works in September. At this current point in time, we're approximately 94% completed in terms of the works. However, it is the finishing details that is delaying us a little bit, because we have to ensure that those are done properly, because we really would not want any criticism when the building is in use. So we're trying to ensure that all the details that are needed for us to make the building functional, that those are taken into consideration seriously, and that those are implemented as best as we can. So we have substantially completed the structure. Most of the exterior works are completed. The ground floor where the clerk's offices are, those are completed. We're doing the second coat painting on the ground floor as we speak. The first floor where the chambers are located, we're doing the finishing works in terms of the woodworks that we need to complete within those areas. Those are being worked on at this point in time. The meeting rooms as well for the members, those are completed. On the third floor, the gallery has also been completed, and the kitchen areas and other areas that are used for the members of the house, those are substantially completed. So basically, it's only minimal works that are remaining, including the installation of the air conditions. We have approximately 46 air conditions for the entire building. And so the subcontractor is working on those right now to ensure that all of those are functioning perfectly. We're still doing some minor woodwork in terms of finishing for the ceiling and also for the chamber areas. But we expect that these will be completed by the end of October. And so our idea is to have the building substantially completed by November, and then do a 1-month test to ensure that everything is working properly before we hand it over to the speaker.
Once completed, the improved facilities are expected to provide a safer, more functional, and more accessible environment while maintaining the architectural integrity of the landmark building. Chief Engineer in the Ministry of Infrastructure, Development and Housing, Evan Dale Moody, today also provided an update on the long-delayed Sartaneja Road project. Although the works are not being carried out directly by the ministry, Moody explained that it continues to oversee the project's progress. He confirmed that the road is now in its final phase following a series of unforeseen delays and is expected to be completed in the coming months.
In terms of the implementation of the Sartaneja project, that project is basically 43 kilometers in length. We have completed approximately 42 kilometers, and so that project is around 95% completed. In terms of the implementation of the works, all those works are supervised by the Ministry of Infrastructure. And so those are all payments are certified by us, going to the Ministry of Finance and then thereafter to Exempt Bank, who is financing the project. So all IPCs are certified by us to ensure compliance with the works that has been done on site. We have a record of all those IPCs as well, for our personal record. However, we also need those to submit to the funding agency. In terms of delays, yes, we have had delays in terms of weather, and also we've had some sort of delays as well based on the ground condition, especially on section 1. Section 1 is a section from Corozal towards Pueblo Nuevo Bridge. That's an area that is always susceptible to flooding because of the marsh ground condition, and so we have had some delays there, whereby we had settlement on the pavement that we had to correct. We've also had delays because of contractors' equipment and so forth. And so that basically are the three reasons and rationale as to why we've had some delays with the project in getting it completed.
Both projects are part of the government's ongoing efforts to improve national infrastructure and enhance essential services across the country. And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
Get the most out of your internet with Centaur's ExpressNet. Are you ready to supercharge your online experience? When connecting to your Velo Mesh device, make sure you're linked to our blazing fast 5 GHz frequency. Why 5 GHz? Faster speeds at a shorter range. 5 GHz is perfect for use in smaller spaces where speed is your top priority. As for the 2.4 GHz, while connection may travel farther, it can lead to slower performance. Remember to use 5 GHz for your devices and experience the difference instantly. ExpressNet, bringing you the best speeds for the ultimate online experience. For more information, contact us at 380-0101.
Welcome to Design Depot, where you'll find premium quality products from trusted brands, all in one place. Visit us today for quality products, expert service, and the brands you trust. Design Depot, all in one place.
Oh man, one more stroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data, so you can scroll till your fingers cramp.
Enjoy free social media data now included in our Flex Choice and Select postpaid plans.
Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
Attention farmers. The New World Screwworm is a serious threat to livestock, pets, wildlife, and humans. It causes yield losses, damages the quality of meat and skins, and can even kill them if left untreated. Check your animals daily. If you see any wounds on them, treat them immediately. Prevention is key. Apply approved healing and fly repellents to the navel of newborn animals after dehorning. ear tagging, or any other practice that leaves wounds on your animals to ensure your animals' well-being. If you notice worms in unusual wounds, report them immediately. Call Baha at 824-4872 or text or WhatsApp 670-7003 or call your nearest Ministry of Agriculture office. And don't forget, never transport or receive animals with injuries. Together, we will prevent the spread of this dangerous disease. This message was brought to you by Baha, OIRSA, AICA, USDA, and the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise.
17 nursing students from St. John's College Junior College took part in the White Rose Convocation ceremony at the University of campus today, marking their transition from the associate level into bachelor's degree studies. The event represents a historic milestone as it is the first time the institution's nursing program has advanced students to the bachelor's level. Dean of SJCJC, Mirta Peralta, highlighted the significance of the occasion, noting that the institution has long aspired to include nursing among its higher-level academic offerings. She said the expansion of the program not only fulfills that vision, but also strengthens Belize's health sector by preparing more qualified professionals.
The program was, we started the vision of the program many years ago, and it was born from an immersion experience that we had done in the Toledo district. We had visited the villages, Corazon Creek, San Felipe, Santa Teresa, San Miguel, and so we saw the importance of healthcare specifically in the Toledo district. And so we started with that dream and that hope that we, as a part of our mission and what we do here as men and women for others, that we could contribute to helping in the Toledo district. And so that is where this dream was born. I then started talking and collaborating with people from the U.S. that we were a part of a program because SJC is a part of a larger network. And so specifically Dr. Colleen from Boston College and then Dr. Donna from Boston College. And so that is where we started the conversation and started to dream about nursing program here at St. John's College. So we had that and we did that for a number of years. And we started the program in 2023. And again, because the vision was born from the Toledo district, we had we have 3 students in that program. One from Corazon Creek, one from San Miguel, and one from the Tong, Punta Gorda. And so we brought them here, providing them a scholarship opportunity, room and boarding opportunity for them to come and go back to Punta Gorda, to the Toledo district, to be able to serve in those communities. So, and then of course we could only do 3. Now we have secured 3 scholarships for them. And 3 families: the Alistair King family, the Labriel family, and matron Shirley Mahong, all from the Punta Gorda, from the Toledo district, to give back to their community with providing the scholarship for these nurses so that they can do a bachelor degree program.
The Ministry of Health also praised the milestone, stressing the importance of adding more nurses to the workforce at a time when Belize faces growing demands in healthcare services. Officials noted that the dedication of these future nurses will play a vital role in meeting the country's urgent health needs.
I am very excited to welcome new nurses in the profession. I am happy to see that they have persevered throughout the program and that the program has now become established in the country, and it is certainly going to assist us in helping us with the gaps that we have when it comes to the shortages of nursing in Belize. And so this type of initiative is very welcome by the ministry, and we can see it as something positive for the country because the last State of the World Nursing Report shows that not only in Belize but globally the shortage of nursing has increased, and so having another school of nursing will help us in Belize to ensure that at least we try to close the gaps here in our country. It is very good to see that the program is encouraging students to come from areas that are remote. It will definitely help because this way we can have them work in their communities, stay in their communities and provide the support for the most vulnerable populations and rural communities.
The White Rose Convocation not only celebrated the achievement of the 17 graduates, but also marked a new chapter in nursing education in Belize, one that expands opportunities for students and strengthens the foundation of national health care. As part of the celebration, 3 students from the Toledo district were awarded scholarships to continue their nursing studies. The Fisheries Department has officially announced the opening of the Florida stone crab fishing season, which will run from October 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. The season marks an important period for local fishers and seafood enthusiasts as regulations are reinforced to ensure sustainable harvesting practices. In accordance with the Fisheries Resources Act and Statutory Instrument Number 108 of 2022, all fishers and the public are urged to adhere strictly to the established regulations governing the stone crab fishery. Key regulations and guidelines consist of fishers and exporters applying for a license from the Fisheries Administrator before engaging in stone crab fishing or export activities. Those using traps must obtain specific authorization from the Fisheries Administrator. Plastic traps used for catching stone crabs must feature an exact gap of at least 2 3/8 inches along one side. When it comes to size and possession limits, it is illegal to possess claws shorter than 3 inches or the carapace of a stone crab. It is also of note that devices that could harm or crush the crab are prohibited. The department emphasizes the importance of responsible fishing practices and urges the public to report any illegal activities. Citizens can contact the Fisheries Department at 224-4552 or via email at fisheries_department@fisheries.gov.bz to report concerns or violations. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Friday, September 26th here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com, or you can log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at CTV3NewsBZ. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.